Hey y'all, Sherry G. Welcome to the channel. So look, this last episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, oh my goodness, it was something else. Especially baby aces. Well, there were a couple of things that stood out to me in this particular episode. And y'all who've been with me for a while, you know how I do it. I don't review the whole entire episode because I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. So I'll watch the whole thing and then I just go back to the segments that really stood out to me so that I can sit with them for a while and just kind of observe what really happened, because it's one thing when you're just sitting there watching it initially. Like for me, I'm a person who can't really sit still. So I move around a lot while it's playing. There's a lot going on. So I have to intentionally go back and sit with it, the different segments that I think I want to talk about, and then pull out what I want to pull out, of whatever happened, what speaks to me in those particular scenes. So that's what I've done with this past episode. And I'm calling it this past episode because I don't know what episode it is. I've seen some people calling it season 7, episode blah blah, or season 6, episode blah blah. So I'm just going to call it this past or most recent episode and just leave it at that. So yeah, in this video, I'm going to be specifically focusing on Baby Ace's introduction celebration. In my opinion, it was anything but a celebration. The ladies were all together and man, it just turned out to be the ultimate gripe session. I don't know. It was an ultimate gripe session, but it wasn't anything celebratory, in my opinion, or at least what we saw, in my opinion, wasn't anything celebratory. It was just like a big gripe session. So all of the ladies were there initially. Tisha did show up. She showed up late. Kiki didn't show up because she wasn't feeling well. But when Tisha, like I said, she showed up late. As a matter of fact, Tiffany didn't even think she was going to be coming because she didn't respond. She never RSVP'd, but she did. She showed up. Prior to her showing up, all of the ladies were talking, and they were talking about the Black Business Expo, and they were all expressing, their concerns or their disappointments. So when Tisha arrives, of course, everyone gets quiet. When she walks in, Stormy kind of looks at her and makes this little grin, but she didn't even speak. And I still don't understand what that was all about. I mean, to me, it's just typical Stormy, what we've seen in the past. She's claiming that she doesn't have an issue with Tisha, that her issue was really with Marceau, but she didn't show that initially. Now, later on in this scene, Tisha gets upset and she walks away from the ladies. Stormy gets up and she goes to console her and brings her back over to where the ladies are sitting. I'll get into it in just a minute. Let me go ahead and run my disclaimer. Then I'll come back with my commentary. In the meantime, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let me go ahead and run my disclaimer. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, thanks. I'm back. So yes, like I said, in my opinion, this was like the ultimate gripe session. And, when Tisha walked in, she felt like the energy in the room was off. And it was, because like I said, the ladies had all been talking about she and Marceau and the business expo and sharing their disappointments with one another. So when Tisha walked in, everyone got quiet and she noticed it. And she asked them, why is everyone quiet? And then they told her, we were talking about the expo. So anyway, they started going in on Tisha. Everyone, everyone, Nell, they were all just going in. And One of the things that Tisha, she did get up from the table. She got upset. She was getting very defensive. But I can kind of understand where Tisha was coming from as far as feeling overwhelmed in that moment. You have all of these ladies and they're all coming at you and no one's saying anything good. I mean, everything that they were sharing, all of their sentiments, though they may be valid, though they may be real, it was just like overwhelming for Tisha. And of course, she got upset. So here's the thing. In my opinion, there's a time and a place for everything. And Tisha actually said that too. She's like, there's a time and a place for everything. I came here to celebrate baby Ace, not for this. And I get it. You know, there is a time and a place for everything. So I understand her frustration and her feeling of being attacked. You know, I also understand that their concerns were legitimate. That just wasn't the time nor the place to do all of that. So I thought that that was kind of tacky. Um, Kimmy did state that they should have a meeting later to go over the expo and give feedback. And I do agree that feedback is a great way to gauge how your participants felt about the event. And they should be given the opportunity to share what went well as any areas of opportunities. And hence the problem. These ladies weren't talking about anything that went well. So, of course, it could be overwhelming. Like, how would you feel? Like, honestly, how would you feel if someone came at you and all they had to say to you was something very negative? Or you went into a feedback session with your boss and everything was negative. I've had bosses like that before. Thank God I don't have those type of situations now with my upper management. I'm in management myself and I don't deliver feedback like that because I know it can be very, very overwhelming. And you might be saying, well, there wasn't anything good about the expo. Well, the idea itself was good, right? I mean, so that's something. I mean, there was something good about the expo. It might be kind of hard to kind of sit back and think about it, but you got to choose your battles because the point is if they want to continue doing this or they want to encourage her to do well, to step into her power, that's not a way to do it. That's just a way to deflate someone. Now, I don't think Tisha is really open for feedback because maybe in her mind it's going to be all negative. And she feels like, she stated, she and Marceau thinks that it was perfect and everything went well. So she did concede later, you know, that she would be open to feedback, but I don't think she really is. Because, again, what did she receive from the ladies already? What she received from the ladies already wasn't anything promising, wasn't anything to look forward to, in my opinion. But, you know, the ladies were talking and they were talking about how Marceau acts like a woman and how he stays in women's business. As a matter of fact, Stormy called him a biatch. Kimmy in this scene, she just really annoyed me. So, like I said, the ladies were talking about Marceau and how he acted like a woman by always staying in women's business. And then Kimmy says he doesn't act like a woman, trying to appease Tisha. And when I heard this, I'm thinking to myself, but girl, you know what they mean when they say that. I mean, as a matter of fact, you were talking to your husband, telling him the same thing. In other words, I get it. It wasn't the same words. But in other words, your sentiments were the same. So to me, Kimmy is boring. The only thing she brings to the show is the dictionary. She's a wordsmith with an immature man in tow. That's how I see her. So back to Nell Fletcher. I have to say that I really like her. I like the way she's owning her position on the show. I like the way she's showing up. Now, some people are saying that she's being messy, but we know somebody has to be messy. And I think, in my opinion, at least anyway, her messy feels a little more, how do I have to say it? For me anyway, is a little more authentic than perhaps Tiffany's type of messy. There's a difference in their messies. I'm not sure what the right word is, but I do like the way that Nell is showing up. and throwing out their truths, like the bones they're trying to bury, she's digging them up, saying, nope, you put this bone out here it is, give us the truth. She's not down for any of the mess. So she is really earning every single penny that the network is paying her to be on this show. So it'll be nice to see more of her, like I've said before, and Fletcher showing up, because he finally, Chris, started showing up and showing more of his personality in the last scene. So anyway, I will be back with more commentary. That's all I have for you in this particular video. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because I will be back. Until then, ciao.